So this morning I messed up. It wasn't anything major, and in the overall scheme of things, it really wasn't a big deal. But in the moment it happened, it felt like a big deal to me. I could feel myself reacting to what had just happened and starting to spiral. And I wanted to talk you through what happened and how I reacted and how I handled that and moved myself into a better place so that that experience didn't ruin my whole day, but instead just became a minor road bump that I could handle, get over, and then move on with my day in a reasonably normal state of mind. So I've been helping my husband with a project. I have been sending out letters on his behalf to different organisations. And what I did in this instance was I carefully crafted this letter to a particular organisation, and then I sent it to the wrong person, to the wrong company. So it would have made no sense whatsoever. And in the moment that happened, I felt my stomach drop and I went into panic reaction mode going, oh, I've just made this mistake. How can I fix it? I went looking for a way to undo what I'd just done, but unfortunately there was no way to undo it. It was locked in. The mistake was made. The wrong person was going to get the wrong letter. And I could just feel the panic and the negative self-talk start. Like, oh my God, I've just messed up. How can I fix this? I can't fix this. What can I do? I've just ruined that opportunity. I've just wasted the time I spent writing this letter. And I could just hear the momentum building with all that negative self-talk. And so the first thing I did was notice that that was going on. I had that awareness that, oh, I'm saying all these things to myself and it doesn't feel good. So that talk was going through my mind racing. I was just finding more and more things to get upset about because of this thing that had happened. And I wasn't able to stop the momentum. It was building. I could feel that happening. And so that awareness was the first piece, because when I realized that was happening, then I could actually take a moment and do the second thing that I did, which was to take a breath, because it's like, okay, I messed up. I'm starting to spiral. What can I do about this? And that's when my experience and my practice kicked in to try and shift the momentum of this negative spiral. And so the next thing I did was to actually change the story I was telling myself, to reframe what had just happened, to try and find other ways to describe the experience to myself, to not minimize but decrease the amount of negativity that I was painting it as. So things like, oh well, I've sent 55 of these out and it's the first time I've made this mistake, so that's not too bad. Or, you know, I'm always so careful with this, which wasn't so much a criticism as an acknowledgement that I am very careful and systematic when I do things. And this was just an instance where my system had fallen down, and that maybe it was an opportunity to tweak it to reduce the chances of this happening next time. And then as I worked through this process of finding more positive ways or less negative ways of describing to myself what had just happened, I then found myself starting to use humour, saying things like, well, I guess I could quit, which is funny because this is an exercise, a project that needs to be done, that I volunteered to take on, and there is no quitting in doing this. So that was kind of me making a joke about that. And also, oh, I could take a 50% pay cut, which is also funny because I'm also not getting paid for doing this. It's something I'm doing to help my husband. But by using humour, I started to diffuse the intensity and the negativity. And that's how I managed how I was feeling about this in that moment. Once I reached that point, I was able to then start working towards letting the hooks of this experience go, to sort of release their tight grip on me. And once I'd reached that point of feeling a little bit better about it, I was able to recognise there was nothing more I could do and distract myself by going, oh, well, I'll do this task instead now, something completely unrelated. So stepping away and also distracting myself from what had just happened by doing something else that needed doing, and giving myself a bit of space just to process this. And as I gave myself that space, I found that I was able to move into a place of acceptance, to say, oh, well, what's done is done. I can't do anything to change it. If I've ruined that opportunity, then that opportunity is ruined and there's nothing I can do about it. And to be able to sort of, really move into a place of being okay and not feeling so hard on myself about what had just happened. So what I was doing there basically was moving from a negative spiral into a better place, so that that one thing that happened, a mistake that I made, didn't end up completely derailing me for the day, because I could feel that's where I was headed. But instead, I was able to shift my experience into a slightly better place. And so what I was doing was basically regulating my response. I was triggered by what had happened, and I was then regulating myself and moving into a better place, soothing my reactions and my nervous system. And so if you're interested, I've got a guide on that process that you can download. I'll put a link to that for you. And also, I've also done a video in the past on how to stop negative thoughts in their tracks, and I'll give you a link to that here. And I'll see you in the next one.